Good morning, folks. Each and every one of you. We're happy, very happy that you folks are here with us this morning. Folks, believe it or not, it's Thursday, the 23rd day of October already. How are you guys doing? And what a start the day has been. We saw the closure of the this primary school, Bedford Acting Primary School on the East Coast because of the pigeon infestation. Yeah, if you thought was one thing that's wrong in this country, think again. Good folks, think again. It's not one thing wrong, it's a multiplicity of things. And as we begin this morning, we encourage you to share the live for us. Share the broadcast for us. Smash that emoji button as well. How are you folks doing where you guys are? Good to have all of you, Magnell and Roxanne. Holly, are you on the live this morning, Holly? Yvette and Marlin. Good to have you, Yuli. Lafram and Rubens. Good to have you, Melissa and Everil and Erwin. Mandy's here too, and Lincoln King is here as well, and Loretta Argyle. Good to have all of you in the broadcast this morning. Got a cold cup of coffee here. Been up a little bit. Watching the news. Curating, putting things together. Sitting on the dock of the day as well. Watching the time roll away. That should be a song. That should be a song, somebody. All the folks watching us this morning, good morning. Right? Neon Harding reminds us that pigeons can carry respiratory diseases. Right? Angela Jordan's on the live this morning. Claire Alexis Charmley Richmond's on the live as well. All the other beautiful folks who are joining us today, we hope that you guys are great. Go ahead and have a fantastic day, man. Go ahead and have a great day. Good to have all of you. Take a second for us. Gladys and Mandy and Margaret Nelson. Margaret, did I see Naomi? Did I see Elizabeth? Did I see Leonard Fernandez? Elena Braffett. Onessa Wardin, good morning. Good morning, all you beautiful, handsome, wonderful, peace-loving, uncantankerous people. Good morning to all of you. Why don't we start there? Why don't we start there? Right? I see Naomi asking, why can't the blue factory canary and the pigeons don't behave? It's bird season. Bird season apparently. We're following that, folks. And of course, we've been sporting our pink, oh my God, I almost missed it. Our pink lower third here. Is that my name? Yeah, sure. Our pink lower third. As we lift up all those who are in the throes of this dreaded disease we call cancer. As Cancer Awareness Month, you know, and the thoughts and prayers with all of those you've been through, you're coming through, you're going through, wherever you are. We stand up with you all today, boy. We stand up with you all today. Each and every one of you, we stand with you all. We saw the Minister of Health recently saying that, again, early detection is the key to it, right? Early screening, that is the key. We got no reason this instant to disagree with the minister. Early detection is key, you know. So get tested. Men as well as women are susceptible to breast cancer, even though it's disproportionately women who suffer. But men and women, you know, early screening. We join with the Ministry of Health to see early screening. Feel a little hot under the collar. The AC take a little while to pick up, you know. Hot and bothered. Early screening, folks. Early screening. We want to emphasize that. Our own small way and small part, early screening. And now that we've started on that light note, that's what this pink represents here. You know, that's our own way of keeping focus on the issue. Sunday, we're going to be out on Sunday, truly standing and walking, raising awareness on Sunday. It's intended to be a massive gathering of folks. You know, this is the One Communication hosting this. I know last weekend the Guyana Cancer Society had their walk, and Sunday is expected to be One Communication and a number of other stakeholders. And it's an annual event, and I haven't missed it in recent history. I haven't missed it. You know, an aunt of mine, June, who we buried last year, died as a result of this dreaded disease. You know, today, folks, I didn't want to think about it, but my aunt called me from the US to remind me. We buried my grandmother a couple of weeks ago, right? June, my aunt who died last year of cancer, her mother, we buried her a couple of weeks ago, and had she been alive, today would have been her 90th birthday. She'd been 90 today, and she was the matriarch in our family. So my thoughts went to her this morning as my aunt brought up the whole thing. I felt sad, you know. I felt sad. 89 and gone. May her soul continue to rest in peace. Iris Hall, Ni Chung, and a blessed remembrance. Will be 90 today. That being said, folks, let us turn your attention to our colleague Travis Chase, who we saw outside of this Bedford Primary School just almost moments ago, talking with some parents there, and in particular, wanted you to hear from the GTA, the PTA rather, the Parent Teachers Association president, who spoke with AGPTV Nightly's Travis Chase on the ground there at the BV Primary School about what's going on there. And there's something we saw at the Charlestown Secondary School recently, and we covered that extensively. You know, the drones were fighting children there, fighting teachers, fighting parents. You know, the birds in this country, whether it's the blue factory canary or the pigeons or what have you, you gotta watch the birds. Gotta watch the birds. That being said, folks, let's take you to that interview that our brother Travis Chase did with the PTA president there, Better for Acting, BV, Primary School, Upper East Schools. Take a look.
Alvin McCurdy.
Alvin McCurdy.
Yes.
And you are the...
I'm the president of the PTA board of Better for Acton Primary School.
What's happening here this morning?
This morning we have taken a decision to close the gates of the school because of the condition of the school. As much as work is being done at the school, it's not sufficient. Also, the environment is not conducive for learning or teaching. The teachers are frustrated. The children are getting sick by the days. Every day children are getting sick. Parents are afraid to send their children to school. So this morning we decided that enough is enough. We're going to close the school and we're asking the minister to come in. We don't want her to send anybody. We want her to come herself.
Yeah.
We want her to come herself.
Come across this way, please.
Sure.
Yes.
Yes, we'd like the minister to come herself so that she can... Start.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
We'd like the minister to come herself so that she can see the situation, make a better assessment of the situation. As much as work is being done, they would have brought paint to paint the school without actually sanitizing the school. We'd also like them to close the school so that the work could be done faster and in a better manner. Those are the two things we were asking for.
Just two questions. Last week, the Ministry of Education indicated that they had invited, I think, a contractor or so to come and do remedial work, and that it would have been completed by weekend. Are you saying that the works have not been completed and that the children were attending school for this entire week in the same condition?
That is correct. Works are still going on. They would have closed school on Thursday and Friday. They had the weekend. They had Monday, which is a holiday. But the work has not been completed. They've been doing works after school hours. But based on the work that is being done, it's just showing that the pigeons are relocating to another area. It's not actually going away.
What another area in the school? And earlier you spoke about it not being a conducive environment. Could you help describe the situation for us who have not been able to access the school?
Okay, so in terms of the conducive environment, we still have pigeon feces, we still have feathers blowing, the children cannot eat properly, the teachers cannot eat properly. It's so bad that if you're standing here, the pigeons are walking between or flying between you.
Did the PTA put forward a recommendation to the Ministry of Education in order to fix this problem? Like how are the pigeons getting into the school, from where, from which location, block off this area, open this area, anything like that?
We would have engaged the ministry. We asked them to come and assess the situation. We did make a recommendation to block off areas of the school, but the blocking off is not working because the pigeons are still there. They're relocating to, for example, if you look there, you'll see them on the banister. Sometimes they're on the pipe. They're in classes right now. There's still other areas that they haven't blocked off, so they're still there. Nests are still there.
What were the remedial works that were initiated last week? The minister said something about mesh being installed. Is that sufficient to measure? And where the pigeons are coming from, or why are they still here? Is it that they're being fed by somebody? And if so, could you say if the authorities have reached out to that individual to have them stop feeding the pigeon?
I cannot confirm that, but the pigeons have been here for, I was informed, about 10 years or more. But it got worse about 3 years or 4 years ago. And most recently, children have gotten more sick. We've had children hospitalized and so on, but they just speculated what might be the cause of it.
Now, you mentioned children being ill, and the ministry said last week that 4 children were tested or sent for medical care, and that the results show that it had nothing to do with the presence of the pigeons. What do you say in relation to that?
I cannot comment on those cases because I'm not a medical professional. But there are children and teachers who were here before who have gotten rashes, they've had breathing problems and those things. So my question is, how do you answer that part? How do you answer the teachers and children who've had these medical problems when they're at school? When the school is closed, they're on vacation and these things, they're not having these problems. But as soon as they enter the school, it's happening.
Was a relocation process or idea ever brought up between the Ministry of Education and the PTA?
In terms of for the children, the students, no.
How many children were accommodated in this school, and how many teachers attend this school?
We have about 16 teachers and I think well over 600 children.
That's a shortage, you think?
For the teachers, yes. There, it is.
Okay, so what's next? You lock the gates today. What happens tomorrow?
What are you expecting from this outcome?
I'm expecting that the minister come so that she can see the situation firsthand. I'm also expecting them to lock the school for an extended period of time so that works can be completed properly and in a timely manner.
So the Minister of Education, Ms. Sonia Parag, has not reached out to the school or have not visited the school? That's what you're saying?
She has not. She has not. In terms of reaching out, not to my knowledge.
We dodged the bullet on this one, folks. Dodged the bullet on this one. That's what went on at the Bedford Primary School earlier this morning with an aim to bring that situation there under control. You were listening there to the PTA president being quizzed by our brother Travis Chase and Svetlana Marshall. Travis Chase, of course, from AGPTV Nightly, and Svetlana Marshall from senior reporter from News Source. Big Uncle Gordon's News Source, quizzing the GTA president there at BV Primary School. You know, things supposed to be getting better. Getting worse, apparently. Getting worse. We gotta fix that unless it's a zoo. Our kids and birds and cows and so on are not supposed to be, you know, inhabiting the same environment. Right? Our kids and the birds and the bees and the what have you, not supposed to be inhabiting the same environment. Right? That must be unhealthy on some level. Come on now. Come on now. You tell me if one of these big ones, as we call them, you got your kid at some school and they and the pigeons, you know, equal access to that learning. You comfortable with that? You comfortable with that? No, some arrogant, some of them are. They'd already be up on the teacher face and the principal face already. You wouldn't take that. So why do we have our kids, other people, children, with pigeons and cows and goats and all manner of crawling and creeping things? Why? We got to do better. I thought that's what you use summer for, and Christmas vacation and Easter and so on. You know, the things that are outstanding, you try to fix it so you have a conducive environment for our kids. I just thought so. You know. We need a pigeon whisperer, apparently. That's what we need, a pigeon whisperer. And that was what was going on there at the, as I said, BV Primary School up on the East Coast. Yeah. We gotta fix a couple of things. And talking about that, as we are in education, we saw some folks from the agri sector, some agri students graduating recently, and we love, you know, don't know if they had to contend with pigeons and so on and alligators and so on at their school there, but graduating and going on. 84 students, they tell us, from the School of Agriculture, they've received their diplomas and certificates just a couple of days ago, right? And hopefully they come to play a meaningful role in the development of this country moving forward. They just fly out and go and give Barbados or somewhere the expertise. But you know how things are. They were admonished to help Guyana in its quest for food security, right? And hopefully they're part of creating innovation in crop and livelihood production. That's some of the admonition, the charge to the graduates there. Right? I hope they don't fly out and left. They find meaningful employment. I had to go at one point. So I understand it. We got all this oil now. We got all this oil now. So congrats to these young people. Congrats to all of them putting themselves out there like this, doing the work, and now you have the reward for it. Congrats to all of them. I was reading early on this morning a piece of reporting coming out of the International Monetary Fund. They're falling head over heels for the kind of GDP growth locally. Saying a lot of complimentary things. And in lots of regards, for the ordinary Guyanese, that man in business gonna make money. Nice time. Good for you all. But for the ordinary folks, the man in the street, that we're in touch with every day, they're not seeing it. And then when you do your own little models and your computations and so on, you realize that even with a big growth rate, wages and salary ain't keeping up with that. Right? The wages and salary not even keeping up with the high inflation and the high cost of living. So it seems very nice on paper, but unless you translate that into livelihood for the people, they ain't gonna go and beg and borrow. What are we doing? And that's an interesting, I don't know how far out your morning have gone, but that is an interesting, I saw a column over the weekend and now an article in Starbuck News this morning by former PPP executive Ralph Ramkaran. I should say of more recent vintage, former ANU executive. And he's saying to the PPP, basically, he's giving the PPP advice. Little irony there. Advice couldn't give to ANU. But he says, number one, these bridges and roads and so on, it make no sense because you all ain't pulling no kind of a big portion of the electorate, more than you had, for all the roads and bridges and buildings and so on that you all trying to do. And what he's suggesting is that they kind of tweak the door-to-door strategy. He said, look all the money I'll spend. This is Ralph advising them. Ralph Ramkaran, attorney at law. He said, and look, what you got for show? Trillions of dollars. And nobody really come over to y'all. You see, when you take a macro look at the thing looks different. When you see Jermaine go over and James and Gita and whoever else, right? Sandy and what's the other one? The former chairman of Region 4, Danielle and so on. You say, oh my God, everybody going PPP. You're too up close to the thing to see it. But Ralph now having a bird's eye view now in hindsight, he says, y'all ain't get nothing really for the money you spend. You got to switch it up. You got to switch it up. And pretty much saying what we're saying now. That unless people felt need, here Ralph said in this piece, he said a lot of ministers go and they got these things and they're meeting people and so on, and they're making notes and so on, but they're really solving people's problem. He said they're really solving people's problem. Beatrice is in Sabbath News. Gary Greenwich, Dan and Michelle, he said they're really solving people's problems. It's a form of godliness, but they're rejecting the power thereof. Oh, this is governance. Oh, we taking notes, man. Ralph said it, but there's no follow-up. People don't feel hurt because the problem is not being addressed. The problem is not being fixed. You see, you got to switch up the retail politics. You did a lot of big ticket items. You did bridge, you did road, you did bap. You're doing gas to Shore Harbor and this and that and all manner of things. But when you look at the returns, right? He said, when benefited better. And then he goes on to talk about, if you want to bleed it up new PNCR, you got to go to the retail. You got to improve your retail politics. And that's the problem I'm making. People not feeling this thing. Naomi, we're pumping, but we're not feeling it. A lot of oil pumping out there. People not feeling it. Interesting column by Ralph Ramkran over the weekend in Sabbath News, and now see them translate that into an article. You know, but we on this side too, we got to pick up the pace a little bit. All right. This is not, and I say this privately, I say this publicly. This is not that time when it used to be elections were every 5 years and, you know, a year out, 5 months out, 6 months out. It's now giddy up to a finish line. Every day you got to be out here doing something. You got to spread yourself out. Not too thin. And every day you got to be. You can't left it for 3 months out from an election. By the time then people's minds are already set. But daily out there trying to move the needle. We got a lot of work to do. I wish personally I could do more. I feel like I ain't got enough hours in my day. And I ain't got the money either. I wish I had an assistant or two. A couple more researchers. All right? Some other folks in public relations. I'd make a real mess of the PPP. We got to pick up the pace. You understand me? Sometimes I don't believe that we believe we just lost 16 seats to these folks here. We got to pick up the pace. And I look at them, and in lots of instances, they're copying from us. Some of the issues I see them raising, we've raised those issues umpteen times in the past, and they now come like they just discover hole in road and bad bridges. You see, the thing is look different when you're on the other side. We're on the other side, all the roads smooth. Every crooked path is straight. And then we're on this side now, oh, look what happened here, back. When you're on the other side now, it's rabble rousers, hooligans and thugs. We got to pick up the pace. You know? I want to be the little engine that could. A little bit every day. I like Boxer in Animal Farm. Every day I wake up thinking, I must work harder. But more than that, you know, some people think this is about popularity and likes and share. Flop that. I want to be effective. That's what I want to be. Right? I want to be effective on the people's behalf. We must move the needle on some of these issues. And if we go and we leave this place the same way we found it, we wicked. We wicked. So the IMF showing us some big numbers, GDP and this and that. When I go in my pocket, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling. I'm actually, Michelle Lowe, I'm actually borrowing that phrase from a friend of mine, Rondell Watson. That was his favorite phrase. Flop that. You know, he was one of the friends you can count on to give you good feedback. You know, sometimes you got a heady idea, and you said, "This is what I can do." Right? They gave him a vex. This is what I can do, and he'd watch it you with the maturity of the years, and he would say, "You will do no such thing." Plain face, you will do no such thing. And then you'll have like a moment. You say, I think you're making sense here, though. I think you kind of recalibrate your thinking. I think you're making a little sense here. Let's hold back a little bit, you know. You want to go in the area of tourism plans and so on. You will do no such thing. You pull back. Thankful for some friends who give you good feedback. You know, instant. Marlon Thomas, Gwyneth, and all the other folks who are on with us this morning. Good to have you folks. It's quite a country we're living in. You know, pigeons and bats and bees. We are not attacking this country. I love nature trying to reclaim its territory lost to humankind. We're being attacked. Pigeons fighting in the school. That's what the child. Some people told us when we were there. Right. Not a day goes by, pigeons are flying and pecking them on the hand and all kinds of things. Bats in some school, some place. Pigeons now in Bedford acting. Bees. Folks, you got about 13 over here. 7 outside them embassies line up. You know? 3 in the passport office. Right? 3 in the passport office. What's happening with us? Now look, we lost a brother. Swarm of bees, they tell us, attacked 2 road workers at Triumph on the East Coast. You see? Like the things reclaiming from the East Coast coming through. The pigeons on the East Coast, the bees on the East Coast. We lost 29-year-old Winston Semple and his colleague, we were told, were critically injured. They were part of a road maintenance or construction operation that's happening on the East Coast. And they were attacked by a swarm of bees. His colleague, Glendon Simpson, was injured in the process. Right? So the bees descended on them during this road construction exercise. Neighbors tried to help, but Semple succumbed to multiple stings at the hospital. Yeah. I might be off, but I think bee sting or stings in general, it calls something called anaphylactic shock. You know, the medical people, Margaret and others, I won't give people wrong information, you know. For your information, anaphylactic shock. Right? Then if you got an allergy to something like that, even worse, you know. Too many people in this country die from bee sting and snake biting and so on. Right? And yes, Margaret confirming some persons are allergic to bees. You know, the rest of us, we come up rough and tough. Bee, but we be. Right? Some other people ain't so lucky. Right? The bee wing just brush them. You know, Margaret confirming to us, people can be allergic to bees. And so this young man and his friend, you know, thoughts and prayers with the family. Thoughts and prayers with the family. Winston Semple. who was transitioned as a result of these things, and his colleague was injured, Glendon Simpson. Speed recovery to Mr. Simpson and the family of Winston Semple. Our thoughts and our prayers with you all. You send a loved one out, he leaves in the morning, you don't know, he ain't coming back. Bees. Sometimes bees at a school. Rubber roses. You could imagine that with some of our school children, some of our school kids. Thoughts and prayers with the family and the friends and the loved ones. Thoughts and prayers with them. And while that was happening, right? While that was happening, we're told that a Venezuelan was electrocuted. Right? Electrocuted. Jesus Bagat. He was electrocuted at Bachelor's Adventure on the East Coast. Right. A couple of days ago, 23-year-old Venezuelan national, Jesus Bagat, electrocuted. He was cleaning his yard at Bachelor's Adventure. He touched a live electric wire. Neighbors attempted to assist, but they said he died before help could be summoned. Yeah. I remember going through some places, you're meeting people, you staying in touch, staying connected to the community. And there's different ones would lead you through the community. They said, don't walk there, don't step there. I saw some of that over the weekend. We were in Region 3. You're going through some places and you look down, you see different colors running. Different colors on the ground. Wires, you got it. You gotta watch your step. Right? You gotta watch your step. I think God is Guyanese because he must live here because he protects us from so much. So much. Oh, it's not the bees, it's the wires, it's the pigeons, it's the government. My God. Jesus Bagat, thoughts and prayers with his family. East Coast week. Right? East Coast. Number of things we're following this morning. Those of you who are joining us late, talking about the pigeons at the BV Primary School and the bee attack on the East Coast where the BV Primary School is, and now, electrocution. Right? And look, something you don't see every day and shouldn't even see. Police charged. Police charged with armed robbery. Theon Daniels is charged just recently with committing armed robbery in Letem. That's an oxymoron. Police and charged. And then what he's charged with too. So the people who are supposed to be protecting you from this kind of activity and assault, they are the perpetrators. You see how this country upside down? Upside it down. When this matter went to court, prosecutors alleged that Daniels, age 30, robbed a business while armed. Right? Bail set at $200,000. He has to report monthly until his next hearing. Right? Yeah. Police. Minister Waldron, if we live in a country, police from thief, Elizabeth, Warren, Everett, it's time to go. Police from thief. We're being told that Daniels has since been interdicted from duty and faces internal disciplinary proceedings only. Internal disciplinary proceedings. Police force is a mass. You know, I fired off a letter to the press concerning some of the what's happening in the police force, man. That's on my profile. If you care to take a read, I fired it off to the editors of the daily newspapers, and I put it up on my profile. So I'm not gonna rehearse all of that. But the force is in such bad shape, you know. And I got a call this morning. I got a call this morning from Paul Slow, a retired Assistant Commissioner of Police, Paul Slow. He said, I just read the letter. He said, fantastic. He said, fantastic. And he said to him, some of this you've been saying, and I've been saying at this end too, right? We got to get greater oversight. We actually got to hold these people accountable. That is the work of an opposition, whether it's the main opposition or, you know, whatever it is, we got to hold government accountable. No free passes. Like I said, I wish I could do more. I wish I could do more. You know? But as always, you know, the little scriptures must be fulfilled. That the harvest is ripe. The harvest is ripe. You know, and I'm happy. I say it all the time, so you won't find a stranger. We got people like Paul Slow, sharp on these issues. That's why I try to listen to Mr. Slow. I try to listen to him. You know, I was pleasantly surprised when we had a meet and greet. Elizabeth, you remember? Naomi didn't come. She went in Texas then. We had a meet and greet in Brooklyn. And Paul was in the US at the same time. And he came over, man. You know, and he was so animated and overjoyed. And, you know, and my request, you know, spoke with the folks who had gathered there for a little bit. We got to come back and do part 2. I hope you all know that. Brooklyn, New York, you know, the folks down in Atlanta, they've been telling me to come back. You know, we can do all that. You don't worry. You don't worry. But that was like a high point in my own life. You know, Paul, you have an event in Paul Slow turn up. You understand this? People don't throw themselves in everywhere, you know. So he called me this morning, and I said, well, the day could only get better. The day could only get better. He said, fantastic letter. He said, you owe me some money because you got a lot of my thoughts there. And we went on to talk about some other issues, you know. I thank God for some good people. I thank God that we got some mentors. We got some people we can look up to. You know, right? But we gotta get some cooks now. This ship thing in Peppat, we gotta get some chefs because we could tap into the ship in Peppat business. Look what's happening here to our police. Right? Well, you see, people look to the top. People look to the top. And you see them boys getting away with a couple of things. They said, let me try something, man. The thing I'm coming down fast enough. The honey. At the top, Doro is not coming down. Let me try something. If you can't do the time. I know what you are. I like my freedom. I like my freedom. That's why I stay away. I stay away from tourism plans and so on because people luck might not be your luck. Right? I stay away from gambling and so on. You know, heavy drinking and right, too much revelry and womanizing and whoredom. Too much. Stay away. But sometimes people luck is not your luck, you know. And it's just one time you go. Right? You think I want to shame you? I can see Marlon say, look at Duncan, make me I'm falling. You know, he could have told me. He sent me a little small. He could send me the link. He said, when I tell y'all keep Duncan on the straight and narrow, some of y'all think it's easy. Some of y'all say we talking because we got energy, we have breath. You know, that's why I think about the humiliation to you and your family. Right? Cheryl Plass, Yonat Elias, Linda. Yeah, so look at this one. Oh, look we make we fall. Look how you make we fall. You wake up good. Look story here. Sometimes that's the only thing is keeping the straight and narrow, you know. See if you gotta eat pepper pot chow mein, you gotta put carrot strip in your cook up to give it color and so on because you ain't got all the ingredients that, you know, bring it up to that standard. The wrong standard. You know, you don't bother. You know, Elizabeth could bear me out because her mother, my grandmother, and my mother used to say the same thing too. It's only how people know if you're eating one squares if you're going to tell them. Or if you're drinking black tea. We drink with black tea, come to this family quietly and go there and stand up like everybody else. Chunks. Yes, sir. You eat your one tennis roll. Right? With a little dab of butter, whatever it is. And you go this strong and stand up and you know, some people, how they carry this, they want to ask them something. No, I don't ask people if I'm not in position to help. So if I run into you and I don't ask you how you're doing, it's not about you, it's about me. Because if you say no, Duncan, things tight bad. Things tight. As the Honorable Sher Duncan would say, things tight. Right? I can't say, you know, and coming from a Christian background, I know when we can't help, we say, you know, we gotta keep these things in prayer. we gotta keep these things before the Lord, you see. You gotta tarry there in prayer, man. You know? So if I run into you and I don't ask you how you're doing, don't think I'm being rude. If I'm not in a position to help, I just keep going. Even if people see you and they start going into the person's business, I say, okay. I nod and, you know, find out how you point in the discussion. Oh my God, where does the time go? Where does the time go? You know? Over 1,000 of you watching us, right? And we don't have $1,000 in donation for the morning. You see that? 88 emojis. Y'all wicked. Y'all are part of the problem. The problem in this country. It's part of the problem. You know what? And as we're in the East Coast, let's go further up. You know, let's go right up. Keep driving all the way up. Because they're telling us, my Lord, the more the minister talk about professionalizing the police force and all these different things and the prison service and all that. I had the director of prisons call me recently. This morning when he called me. The more the search is more the fine. More the search, more the fine. Contraband discovered recently at the New Amsterdam prison. Folks, the economy in the prisons in this country rival the national economy. The economy. You could get things more efficient from people inside than outside. Amazon again, nothing on them, you know. You want flat screen. Right? You just call Corley Mike, cell block 16, NA, flat screen, 65-inch. Then that you door tomorrow. Right? Then that you door tomorrow. Never mind the person who bring it breathless in short pants. You know? Corley got a flat screen by you. You know the right people. You could be serving life. You could go home and come back. Cohabitate, cogitate, rotate, oscillate, go home, come back. You know? Prisons like, when you go to work 8 hours, come back, clock in. Next day, gone again. This is the culture we're trying to change. They found homemade weapons in these cells. Right? They found cannabis in these cells. Don't ask me who's supplying it or who possible supplier. Sorry, they found tourism plants in these cells. Cell phones. You see what I tell you? I'm coming down to flat screens now. They found cell phones, cigarettes, right? Couple flat screens, jacuzzi, microwave, sofa. It's court or it's prison. That's why people want to go back, because you get more thing inside than outside. Right? You get more thing inside than outside. You know, you outside here. For cigarettes, you got walk till to the car and stuff. Cell phone card, you got 3 villages down. Right? Weapons, tourism plans. In here, everything in a small cluster. Everything in a small cluster. But if we can bring reform, we got to disrupt this. We got to disrupt it. More the search, the more thing to find in. Who letting all these things pass? Huh? The tourism plans, the homemade weapons, the cellular phones, the cigarettes, the flat screen, the jacuzzi, the microwave, the oven. Who allowed it to pass? Right? I hear people got Lamborghini. They drive around the courtyard there at Ludwig Dan and Son. Hummer and so on. Different. Michelle wants to know if they got water. And listen to this. Look at the contradiction. In there, no pigeon and fight them, you know. No bees and bothering them. You understand me? You ain't got no bad problem. But the law-abiding citizens on the outside. It's been fighting bat, pigeon, rat, everything. Them boys living nice. Living nice. You see? Contradictions of life. Contradiction. We told you this other story quite recently. The teacher and the mud throwing and what's not. We told you of that. You know, and we kind of watching it. Been charged now. The throwing of mud. This happened at the Hacks rice mill at Port Moran. Hacks still at Port Moran? I hope the guy's right here. At Port Moran, teachers now on $15,000 bail. $15,000. We can't take matter in our own hand. Despite the gravity of the situation, we can't take matters in our own hand. I'm speeding to the finish line. Jennifer Ali is being summoned by the ERC. They gotta pull up their socks. Who summons the ERC now? For dereliction of duty. You know. Jennifer Ali, who said some very unsavory things bordering on racial hostility. Her house was burned down. Some of you on social media. You say karma. Jennifer just went in there. Her usual tirade. She's gone again. You see, in Animal Farm, they say all men created equal. Some more equal than others. Like it said, some things other people get away with, you dare not try. You dare not try. I was holding a mic when Obrad said some words that the authorities said this is racial hostility. Both of us were arrested and hauled before the courts. I remember the public didn't bring that, you know. The government charged us with inciting racial hostility. I didn't say anything. I was holding the mic. I love the court's reasoning throughout the matter. You know, vacuous, spacious, specuous, all the S's. Throughout the matter, the state. And here's a beautiful young lady. You know, she got some challenges, like all of us. And she's been hits after hits, boy. And now she getting this award and she can go and go in front of the camera and say she's sorry again. And next couple of months, back to square one. But Leah had been Duncan. Oh, Jesus Lord. You would have seen the letter to the press from organizations in the PP you didn't even know exists. You would have seen the ministers writing Onage and Slow Robeson. Right? Yeah. Different strokes, different folks. That's a society. The one Guyana we're living in. Over to you, ERC. Over to y'all. Over to y'all. Let us leave it there. Let us leave it there this morning. Please and thank you. Let us leave it there this morning. We're going to see you guys on the other side of the day. Remember, it is Cancer Awareness Month. The big walk comes up on Sunday. The Cancer Awareness Walk. One Communication. I'm going to be there. Right? We see each other. Let me take a quick selfie and move along. Some of you, I want to hold people down 2-3 hours. You see me on the walk? Let me take a quick photograph. Hug some neck. Take a squeeze quick. My wife is going to be there. And y'all know she's a coconut lady. My wife is going to be there. Right? My friends are coming along. The Englishes, the Ramsarups. They're coming along and some other folks. But my wife is a coconut lady. Right? Hug, take a photograph, quick, and let me keep it moving. For our sakes, but I worry about your safety. But listen, Jacqueline, Gloria, right? And Gloria said that I forgot the Minister of Talks, James Bunn. He's a pro bono minister. He working for free. Pro bono minister. Folks, let's leave it there. We're going to see you guys in the next one. Have a fantastic day. Right? Y'all be safe out there. Y'all see the madness happening. The birds, the pigeons, the everything. Right? Let us be safe out there. Exercise all the cautions and the wilots on the roads too. Right? Slow down, folks. Be cautious out there. Let me come back alive. Let me arrive alive. That's our 10. That's our broadcast.